Hiya, this is where I am currently, witness statement 20th of September 2023. I've been continuing to hold my head up. I have had insults about my physicality, my weight, constantly rabbiting how I am not good at doing anything, being told what to do. This is like the helm, these handlers' voices that are in your head. How to spend my money, being put down about my upbringing of my daughter. I was spiritually kicked in the back by Julia Greenberg, allegedly. I'm just saying that this person is whom God has enlightened me that is doing this, so it's still an alleged thing until it's proved. Kept up most of the night on one particular occasion, with talking and demonic sex, using me as a sacrifice by means of layer caking, which means like spirits running through Jeremy Chatsky, another alleged person that I'm saying that's my handler, his heart, which is attached to mine by God knows whatever means, which is like a spiritual mountain of a person. And layer caking is multiple spiritual mountain of people, with a highly dark sexual energy, sexual thumping, like heart throughout my body, which is how I wake up most days, become conscious, like this horrible, disgusting kind of sexual heat that you can feel in this spiritual realm of other people that are their spirits as well, that are linked, willingly or unwillingly. From what I understand, people who are spiritually plugged to pair with you, with or without their will, because that is the setup of this depravity, that nobody has their own control over their own bodies, spirits and minds, and every little bit of them these sorcerers think they own. Handlers such as my own Jeremy Chatsky has spirit hooked to my body, so they can do whatever they please with it, which means they can read every thought you have and take the piss out of it. They can manipulate your mind by suggestion or constant rabbiting. They can use fear to control you, and also that's because I haven't put my head down to this spiritual helm that controls them as well. Things are actually coming into reality now. Like this week, my heater was left on high, and I struggle with pain, my heating as well. So they threatened stuff like throwing stuff across the room, which I got hit in the back a few days back, a week or so back. They used like things in your room, like one of my dolls was smacked up onto the floor just to give me scares, to make sure that I put my head up, which I won't. And because I've merely kept my head up, as I don't bow to any demon, as I cannot serve two masters, as I believe in Jesus Christ, like this is not normal to bow to any demon, like because they've spirit hiked your body, that they think that they own you, and they don't, not sexually or any way. But I'm having to suffer because like internally they make me suffer pain. Well, it's like a light pain, but it's an inconvenience, and it's disruptive, and it can take your mind away from what you're doing, like because it's kind of scary with all these feelings that they give you, like false terror feelings and shame and guilt and stuff like that. They can mess with you like that. I'm having more tense internal physical torture, which is the feeling of a snake wrapping tighter around my body, more stringent breathing restrictions, memory blocks, where my pineal gland is being shut off, so I can't remember stuff when I'm shopping. The feeling of my legs being slewed, my chest being opened, being ejaculated into. I am having episodes of choking, but always just about get through, and then the torture changes. And even though it's scary, I try my place my faith in God's hands, as others in the helm are counteracting attempts to me being brought down by lifting me up. So there's other people that are in this helm as well. As I said before, that from what I understand, there are celebrities that are stuck in this helm situation with me. I don't know if it's like some sort of mental play off that they're doing and stuff like that, and they don't exist, and they just take people that you admire, or whether if they do exist, this is to be confirmed yet. And this is the kind of stuff, that the kind of bodily stress that it's putting me under internally. Outside I'm okay, but I'm having to endure sort of internal like tightness around my midriff, like chest feels like it's been opened up, or I have like attacks to the head. But as I say, that this looks more or less nothing to the outside world, but it's quite hell within. As I says earlier, celebrities and stuff are actually held in this thing to actually control them, and also they have like external handlers in real life that put satanic practices on them. Not quite sure of how far this goes. All I saw was like Tom York and stuff, and his wife doing stuff to him. All I saw was jars or candles, and it's almost like a acupuncture thing, but I know there was some sort of real pain, because I saw visions of his face in pain, and he gets whacked as well. It's like a hit, a spiritual hit that like jolts you forward, but I actually feel him like collapse, because he's like I can feel him actually in the helm assigned to me, because like God, as I said in previous videos, he was like on the edge of suicide, and for some reason he was made aware of me, and this is allegedly again. That's all I know. So I'm starting to get whacked now, and still putting my head up, even though things are getting scary. But things do get counteracted some way or another at the last minute. So I experience the fear, and then something straightens it out. So it's got to be God. As I say, it's manifested into reality as I was hit with an object in my room this morning. That was on the 20th of September, and was threatened that my guitars were going to be thrown across the room, just because I won't look down or bow down to this satanic god, the anti-Semitic Jewish order, not to be mixed up with true Jews that worship God Almighty. I know that there is some sort of inbreed, and the ones that I know of are like half of this Jewish seed, from what I understand. So I'm like looking more into this at the moment. So they're like a certain ethnic group that run this, and yeah. And these two handlers that I have, which is Jeremy Chatsky and Julia Greenberg, alleged this has got to be proven in real life, and this is like hard to prove, because like it's something, they say that it's like not accountable, because it's like on a kind of psychic high sorcery level. But I had something dropped about a Ouija board earlier, so I don't know if some things can be proved that's linked to witchcraft and sorcery, that's physically able to be in some sort of ritual. I don't know, towards these people, or they'll all link up some way. I don't know, is it in a coven? This is something I'm about to research. Anyway, I hold these two handlers responsible, because they're the ones who brought me into the helm for sexual gratification, and see me as a sexual slave of no notoriety, and I am expected to sexually gratify my handler Jeremy Chatsky all day long. As I say, the torture has increased over the past year, and I thought he was my kingdom spouse, as I was led to believe, but I begin to think that the devil may have used him as some sort of decoy from my purpose, because I know I'm anointed to do something, because God has let me know in a lot of messages and stuff, and the fact that I see the sun, and the sun brightens up when I look at it, like you're saying it's okay, so like you're on the right track here, like, and I know He's with me because like I've got this far, so, and I'm getting stronger every day. And I'm wondering whether the kingdom space thing is a major deception to get people off the tracks of what's coming, because I think there's going to be a turnover of energy that's either going to go like more like faith or fear route, where we're going to have to like disown these things that come into a place, natural, like electricity and like the natural order of things at the moment that are becoming unnatural, like they're like 15-minute cities, and the fact that we can't get jobs and like everything's like completely out of whack. We might have to start from scratch again, and like source food naturally, and probably disown technology maybe, or totally go sort of off grid, like to get away from being pinned down by this beast system. I don't know whether it's going to go that way, or there's going to be a complete flip or chaos in this country, I don't know. But like I thought with the kingdom spouse thing, God brought my attention that he was going back to his whole old life. So the person that I thought was my kingdom spouse, he never come away from that old life anyway. So God gave him the chance to, but he chose to go back to his old life of depravity, and he never wanted to come back from that, and he says that he couldn't change anyway. So whether I was brought into the helm to offer him an open door, I don't know. Whether that this person will have another chance to go back to the Lord, because from what I heard, messages dropped that he's mine. So I don't know whether like the helm is going to be a thing that ends, or he's going to be made accountable for his actions. I don't know. But as far as I am concerned, he feels like he's being used as a demonic decoy to keep me from my purpose, which is to be a prophetess. They have helmed me that bad where I can't feel the drops of information from the Lord like I used to, but maybe that might be being used to trip them into a false sense of security. And this week some of the others are fighting back, that are also spiritually held, and actually lifting me up. I'm actually getting drops again from God. As I say, they block your mind, like your pineal gland. There's some sort of a link between like the sorcery and the pineal gland, and in consciousness and stuff like that. And I'm having trouble actually swallowing and breathing, because I have to endure this thing that's tight around my neck at the moment. And causing this now because I'm talking on camera, so there's like an internal heat. So this is like proof of what they're doing in the helm, and I know that they're subject to their handlers as well. So if this ever comes to like some sort of trial situation, there's going to have to be like a new kind of case that's going to have to be all considering to all parties, because everyone has to adhere to it, and everyone's got the master over them. So this will be a complete new thing, and I get the feeling that I'm going to have to get this ball rolling, as I've contacted UK column as well, but they're not responding, because I want to know what the UK laws are on sorcery and witchcraft against people, especially if it's difficult to prove. So as you can see, look what's happening to my face right now. It gets super scary when then I drop, and then Christ gives me the lift and determination to get back up again, and then I kind of smile, because I know that God will have the last word. Psalms 91, cover you with my feathers. I am worried for my daughter, as I could not care less if they throw things all around in my bedroom, but I worry for her as she notices when I'm not paying attention, when the voices are harassing me, and when I am breathing heavily, being restricted. From what I understand, they have tried to capture her and my brother, and have tried to hurt my cat too, but to no avail, thanks to God. I was obviously trained up for the job. They have threatened to make a fool of me in public. They know I'm gearing up to do gigs soon, as because this is something that is in my true calling. They are threatening so far and will use any method of embarrassing me by choking, farting. Maybe they can manipulate my speech in some way, mess around with my vocal cords, being pushed, have hellfire on my body, memory loss. This is all what I've experienced so far. Who knows, might even go as far as supernatural happenings around me to scare the shit out of people and make an example of me. I know that this is some line of ethnic line that's causing this, that's held the world down and stuff like that, and going on about like Jew restriction, and this is not like Orthodox Jews or people that worship God at the centre of their core. I think this is definitely derived from Satan's seed, because like God has like really pushed this concept on me, and it's like an in-house thing that controls people and the world. And I'm like looking into this lizard theory or something that David Icke's going on about. You know, it's not like a literal lizard, but the serpent seed theory definitely goes along that lines. And as I've said before, there's like some sort of link with the Nazi thing, because God told me that that they was restricted by Jew restriction, and it was like a different set of Jews that's to do with Cain. I'm yet to sort of reveal this, you know, like this is completely ignorant to me. All I know is like the drops that God's given me. So and obviously they're out to preserve this line and control, so people who rebel against this, that are in the helm, in for it, and I'm definitely suffering, as you can see now. Who knows, this could be the future of everyone who is deemed fit to stay alive by these sick people in power, who are above my handlers, where people will be physically captured like me and tortured this way for the rest of their lives, being told what to do by their very own spiritual handler, with a dose of pain for thinking for themselves or rebelling. This is where I think it's heading, maybe a long time in the future. They say that they can't get the staff because like, it has to be a certain kind of person, but I think it's much bigger than that, and I think it actually involves Catholics as well. I don't know how these individuals can capture human spirits and be able to shadow cake our spirits and bodies, as I thought our spiritual beings were sacred and belonged to God. I'm unsure if they use physical magic to link up with others somehow, as I see many famous faces in this, or whether it's totally demonically based and can't be traced in the physical realm by human realm, or whether it's some sort of technology, sorcery, demonic and humankind link up that can be proved. Either way, it's a blind faith thing to continue on. And what's my crime? Holding my head up, thinking for myself and getting on with my life, which is that natural order as God intended, something that everyone takes for granted. And I'm totally shocked how I got pulled into this with the kingdom spouse thing, and it just got worse and worse and worse, and sort of started off with like sort of being aware of my handler, because I was led to him. It's like the YouTube thing that I mentioned, and because I wouldn't indulge in spiritual sex with him, the torture, physical torture got worse, and I was deceived that this wasn't to do with him. This is to do with like some sort of other thing, and he was involved with it all along and taking the piss indirectly. But it's going from that now where I'm getting stronger, and I was deceived and like coerced into things, and I think God was definitely trying to get him an open door, but it's definitely not ended up like that. And as I say, the only thing I can come up with is like the devil's used him as a way of getting in between my purpose. I don't know, the future will reveal that. I don't want to witch hunt, but from what I want is a way of proving their involvement in this in a court of law, to bring justice to myself and other victims of this, which is actually their daughter as well, because they're involved in this network. She's involved in this network, and he's being trained up to do sorcery as well, and he's a victim of it on a massive scale, as this holds higher echelons of society in place, from what I understand. And I'm aware that allegedly Tom York is on the same page as me, defying the sorcerers in the same way by putting his head up. But I can feel him getting whacked spiritually, which I think is about to happen to me, which, as I says, it's definitely happening now when I get hit. It feels like he's collapsing in the physical realm, as I says earlier, particularly when he is trying to communicate with me. From what I understand, this is probably his wife, who is his handler. And God made me aware of him over a month back, where he was on the brink of suicide, as God kept repeating breakdown, breakdown, as a change lyric to one of his songs. This has been he has been completely excommunicated from me now. I can only hear his voice just about, and from what my handler says, if I don't cooperate in layer cake sex, which is like me having sex either with the handler or him, and in turn with the others demonically. I can't communicate with any of the others, but they manage to get through and they get whacked, because I can actually telepathically talk to them, but they're getting further and further away, and that includes Mike Oldfield and Tom York, Nick Rhodes, David Sylvian turns up a lot. Who else? Rabbi Singer. David Gray has popped in. Madonna. And Julia Greenberg has a pop at me most days, but apparently they've actually paid to run you down all day and psychologically wear you down. These people are actually paid to mentally hijack you and control you. Sometimes I hug Tom York mentally, hold him up pillar just for mutual comfort. This was like a week or two back now. Can't do it because they get layer caked with these other spirits that want sex. But we get, as I say, to have demonic sex, which neither of us want to partake in. So, but I think he's trying to plan an escape. I think he's already tried to escape once. And, these people, this is like part one of the helm, being stuck in this spiritual body thing, and like sorcery and stuff can control you around you. But then there's like the second layer, which is like having a physical handler that's not practicing demonic practices on you, and people that can beat you up and stuff like that. Where I've got the power of 10 men, what I just heard in the head, to hold these people, and we're trying to figure out a way, how to physically make these people safe, whether there could be safe houses or something. I mean, that might be a naive thing to say, but that are specialists that can help people escape that way. As I say, it's in 2 layers. Being physically held and physically held, basically. But I've been pressing down and doing stuff out of sheer determination, with a lot of mental and physical interference by my sorcerers. As I say, they're paid to harass you till you bow down to this demonic force, which has been mainly Jeremy Chatsky and his common law wife, Julie Greenberg. These 2 names are alleged by myself, as I cannot prove their involvement, but my discernment says that it is these 2, and I am in full understanding that these 2 have their handlers also above them, but I am unsure whether they have special privileges, being as they have Jewish roots or serpent seed roots. I don't know. This is like scratching on the surface, or witchcraft roots, or like long lines of depravity and bad things that are going through the blood, kind of thing, that's making them go down this route. And I've been brought aware to my own spiritual bloodline as well. I keep seeing sort of visions of places a bit like Cambridge, like in a medieval setting that's like snowy, like kind of echoes of things coming up from the past, and things are coming up on Facebook, going on about like a warrior line, you're fighting, your blood can add to the way your determination is, and from what I understand, with my bloodline, that it goes back quite far, and there's like knights and all sorts in my blood, so it's like a very virtuous bloodline. It's got royalty in as well, and there's all sorts of people of notoriety, and I know my mum was a fighter, and she was very of high moral standing, and my nan was as well, and they both were tough as boots, and they both had violent husbands as well they had to deal with, and they were both tough, and they were definitely the orthodox poor, they ran their lives through the 10 Commandments, and they never bothered after they got divorced with other men, only on a platonic level. So, and I'm the same as well, and my brother is the same. I haven't been with anyone in 13 years in the physical realm, so there's definitely a root of determination, of moral standing in our bloodline. I think that's the thing that's helping me keep my head up. Association. Okay. I'm currently researching legally how to hold these people to account for the type of sorcery they are holding in people's mind, spirit and body, and that obviously they're holding us hostage, not just my handlers, there are many of them that are holding everyone else as well. In a world sense, I don't have a leg to stand on unless witnesses come forward and we start making a case for this thing happening. But it's also so complex, which physical handlers, the use of sorcery to hurt people in the physical realm, being made a fool of, people being mentally able to handle the physical pain, it seems impossible. But where there's God and Christ, there's a way, where it feels impossible, so it's just like one step at a time. And I don't know if it's in John 14.6, Jesus answered, I am the way, the truth and the life, no one comes to the Father except through me. Matthew 10.29 to 31. What is the price of 2 sparrows, 1 copper coin? Not a single sparrow can fall to the ground without your Father knowing it, and the very hairs on your head are all numbered. So don't be afraid, you are more valuable to God than the whole flock of sparrows. Luke 8:17. For there is nothing hidden that will not be disclosed, and nothing concealed that will be not known or brought out into the open. And I truly believe that this is a coin flipping time, and like from what I understand, God's been telling me it's like Illuminati third. The triangle people. Is it I forgot what they're called. Third eye, and all that. The enlightened ones. This is a lot Masons as well. Got a lot to do with them, and I've been trying to get in touch with people like David Icke and UK column, and they won't touch this with a barge pole. Can't get in touch with David Icke. Can't even find his address, as he's off YouTube and everywhere. But a lot of the stuff, even though some of it I don't agree with, it seems a bit mad, aligns with this, especially that lizard thing, which is not a literal thing, but if it comes from the serpent seed theory, the Cain thing, that is kind of quite possible. So I'll love you and leave you. God bless. Amen.